For the second day in a row, same-sex marriage goes before the Supreme Court. This morning, the justices hear arguments on the Federal Defense of Marriage Act.
Yesterday, the fight was over California's Proposition 8. Jan Crawford watched the arguments. She's at the Supreme Court now. Jan, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Gail, and good morning, Charlie. The arguments in today's case are going to start in just a few hours. Yesterday, of course, justices considering whether California's ban on same-sex marriage violated the federal Constitution. And listening to those arguments, I've got to say, it does not appear there's a majority of justices on that court ready to issue some kind of broad ruling on same-sex marriage. And in fact, it almost looked like they wish they hadn't even taken up the case to begin with and were looking for a way to get out of it.
For much of the argument, the justices questioned whether they jumped into the case too soon. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
We let issues perk, and so we let racial segregation perk for 50 years.
Conservative Justice Samuel Alito also suggested caution.
You want us to step in and render a decision based on an assessment of the effects of this institution, which is newer than cell phones or the internet?
Throughout the argument, the justices seem to be looking for a way to avoid a broad ruling on whether the Constitution guarantees a right to same-sex marriage. On that broader question, the justices clashed. Liberal Justice Elena Kagan seemed most skeptical of arguments against same-sex marriage.
What harm you see happening, and when and how, and what harm to the institution of marriage or to opposite-sex couples?
Conservative Justice Antonin Scalia spoke up to rebut Kagan.
If you redefine marriage to include same-sex couples, you must permit adoption by same-sex couples. And there's considerable disagreement among sociologists as to what the consequences of raising a child in a single-sex family, whether that is harmful to the child or not.
Justice Anthony Kennedy considered the key swing vote seemed open to arguments on both sides. He expressed concern about the court going into uncharted waters, but also showed sympathy for the children of same-sex parents.
Now, of course, today the arguments will focus on a federal law that Congress passed 17 years ago. It defines marriage as only between a man and a woman. And as a result of that, gay married couples in the states, 9 states that allow same-sex marriage, get no federal benefits. They can't even file joint tax returns. They're saying that's unconstitutional because it treats same-sex couples differently. Charlie and Gail.
Jan Crawford, thanks.